because that tends to lead to confusion and a lack of focused effort. You really want to keep them focused on some very simple tasks, as you will see. And so this thing does two things, really. One is it shows the reasons why they should focus on these tasks. And two is it helps them to understand the short term against the long term picture. Because what happens in the short term is actually quite important, because there are, as we all know, there are certain things that are time dated in relation to bonuses. So I'm going to cover that ground in some detail. Save questions you have until the end, if you wouldn't mind, rather than interrupting them during the flow. We'll have an open session afterwards, just for those who want to ask questions. And any who have to leave early, because I know, Sabina, you do, then save your questions, give me a shout on WhatsApp or whatever, and I can handle those with you once we've done the presentation. Okay, so this is a slide set I put together sometime back end of last year, and it's the one that principally we use to engage with brand new partners, because it dovetails with the magic book. Sorry, got it around the wrong one. It's funny, isn't it? The camera kind of mirrors, so you have to move the opposite way. So using this, because this is the Bible. Everything's in here that anyone needs in order to run a business, run a Zeno business. But of course, not everyone learns that way. The hands-on effort is as educational as the book reading. And of course, interaction for some people is much more important than having masses of information on a piece of paper, because it just doesn't go in that way. So that's why these are important. So this is how I do it. And generally, there is a recorded version of this already on the Team Zeno website. However, we will put this one up because it's more of a coaching version rather than a straight out presentation. So your first 7 days. Now that's you saying this to your partner, because these are the things we need to be agreeing. Remember, the focus of this is about helping them to begin to develop a business, rather than it being purely focused upon sharing with potential customers, which may be the case, as we discussed last night, with practitioners. But don't make that assumption, because very often people who have a perception, they can see the value in the product, but they can't see the value in the business model because they don't really understand it. Some people are very reticent about that, and that's absolutely fine. You know, I mean, I've had nutritionists saying, well, I don't want to make money out of my clients. Well, hang on a minute, how do you service them then? You charge for your time, but you know, you should be charging to give them an outcome. And that's in terms of improving, getting the results they want. So that would be improving health overall. So I do know that there is an element of that, but we're not going to address that directly. What we're going to show is what someone who wants to build an organization needs to think about and understand in the short period. As I mentioned last night, McDonald's, sorry, not McDonald's, although I'm sure McDonald's put people through a training program as well, but Starbucks has a 2-week induction even for part-time baristas. And they show an enormous emphasis on the way the customers are handled, because that brings people back again and again and again and again. It's all about the client experience overall. Exactly the same psychology is at work here in relation to the partner experience. If they have a really hard time in the first week because they're floundering around not knowing what to do properly, then the likelihood is they will stop. They may not quit because they will go on buying the product, but they actually stop from participating because they can't find a way through. So what we're trying to do here by doing this is take away the fear of doing it through understanding, and helping them in turn by offering our help to make these things come about. It's absolutely important we handhold here. You know, it's like the first day at school when you were at primary. You'll all remember, the teachers buddied you up with somebody. You held hands, walked through the cloakroom, and then saw where your peg is. That's just the way it works, because it's designed to make them feel comfortable and safe. And we have to do that to some extent with people who've never perhaps been in business for themselves before, never been in any kind of selling environment before. There's quite a lot of trepidation in the idea of picking the phone up and actually calling someone to suggest they might look at this as a business if they've never done it before. You know, it's the fear of the stepping outside of the comfort zone. So we have a responsibility to hold their hands through the first seven, well, actually right through their career, really, but certainly specifically through the first 7 days. Actually, I would say it's more like 60 days to make it work properly, especially for those people who've never been involved before. So your first week, the first week, you have got excited, because otherwise you wouldn't have joined as a partner. You wouldn't be seeing the potential for this. Now, remember, there's a why running around in the back of their head here. They're trying to create some change in their own lives. That's what's motivated the idea of becoming a partner, whether it's financial or personal, whether it's a self-actualization thing, whatever it is, it's a reason they've got excited. So we've got to help them stoke that excitement as we move it forward. They've bought a package. That's not the end of your commitment. You know, I got a new ultimate partner. Great. That's when the work starts. It's not when the work finishes. I mean, it genuinely is when the work starts, because we have a responsibility again to help them move the package, understand what they have, and understand the benefits of what the business model actually provides as well for potential new partners of their own. So now is the time for action. And that means working together with them. So how do you expand your business? Here you are, you bought your package. You've got this product, you've got a little bit of understanding about what it does and how it works. And now we have to convey that to potential partners of your own. So how do you expand on your business? Well, first things first, you need clearly your enthusiasm and your excitement, because that carries people forward in terms of the hurdles that they might anticipate, but they're ignoring right now. So they've not had a chance to fall over yet. And we are going to avoid that as much as is possible. Your Express Start booklet, here it is. If you haven't got it, you can get an online copy through the back office. This is a physical copy because it's the kind of, for me, I like physical things. You know, I do a lot of computer work, but I actually find this very easy to use, reassuring. And partly I think it's because I can flick pages back and forward, you know, and I can focus on a particular thing. I can get an impression of it rather than it being on screen. And I find that a little bit difficult some of the time. So your Express Start booklet is a mine of information that actually can make a real difference when you're not talking to your partner, your new partner who wants to refer to something or other. It's pretty much all in there. So they need their Express Start booklet. The sponsor's phone number. Well, they clearly know you. They want to know who you are, and the phone. This is obvious stuff. They may even want your sponsor's phone number, because if you're not available or you're very busy or maybe you're going away, then you might want to engineer a conversation with your sponsor in order to begin to establish that upline route. Your willingness as a partner to share your contacts. This is the most crucial thing of all, because those contacts, in those contacts is gold dust. They don't know it. Your partner probably doesn't recognize it yet, but it absolutely is the case. Now, what we all bring to any network is the people we know, because that's the methodology the business is actually using to share its product and its opportunity. It's those people you know, and your willingness to share those people with the business opportunity and the product. That's how we leverage it. And within your sphere of influence, of which there are, in the greater scheme of things, somewhere around 600 people. But actually, when you look at the kernel, it comes down to 15 really close ones and around 150 that you know well enough to pick the phone up and call. And those aren't my numbers. Those are Dunbar's numbers. And you can look him up, Andrew Dunbar. He's the guy who did all the sociological research to establish those ratios. So we all know pretty well 150 people. That's where this concept of 7 degrees of separation, or 6 degrees of separation comes from. You know, within 6 other people, we can reach just about everybody on the planet. And when you start to understand that principle of leverage, then it begins to make sense. So it's your willingness to share those contacts and to be teachable. and to be teachable. In other words, it's not a debate about what I'm saying to you in terms of what you need to do to make this, to build a successful business. If you want to go off in your own direction, that's fine. But what I'm showing you is the system we use because it's proven to work. And by duplicating this system, it will work for you. What you do may not work for other people, because if the more you rely on your own skill base and you ignore what we're saying in terms of the way the system works, that doesn't necessarily mean to say you're going to be less successful, but you will be less successful in developing a network. Let me put that into, kind of give that as an example. It's my favorite example. You don't buy a McDonald's franchise and start making pizzas. The system is not designed to make pizzas. Our system is not designed to be re-engineered by the partner, the new partner. If that's what they want to do, then leave them. You might as well have not abandon them. That's not the right word. Let them go away and get it wrong, and then get back together with them, because it's about the duplication of activity. It's not the duplication of people. The skills we all have are individual to us. And yes, they have a place. I'm absolutely certain of that. But the system's designed to focus those skills on achieving new partners and new customers. So being teachable is a crucial part of this. In fact, they bought that when they bought the package. You know, in essence, they've made a commitment to that when they bought the package. So to make the commitment to your dream and to take action, because as I mentioned earlier, there's a thought about change going on in this new partner's head. They're looking for something that will help their customers if they're a practitioner, help them to achieve some more income if they're not, and they're looking for a business opportunity. There's something motivating the activity, and we have a job to help them understand how to deliver on that. So first step is set the goals. We're sitting here asking them essentially, what are you looking to achieve out of this? And the longer they think about it, the more constructed the response is. We don't really want that. What we actually want is someone's instantaneous, I want this, because that's the heart thing that makes the changes happen. So what we're after, we're going to try and extract is what they want to achieve and why they want to achieve it, because it all begins with that thing that's running around their head. It's the why. So remember the way that goals work. They give us inspiration to make the change, because invariably the position we've arrived at is all as a consequence of the thinking that it's the thing that's brought us to where we are, the decisions we've taken. So in order to have something new, we have to make changes within ourselves in order to create that something new, whatever it is. So those dreams and the goals married together give us the inspiration to do that. Now, Sue, we all witnessed. Sue, perhaps I can bring you in for a second just to talk about the goal board, the vision board you put together after the presentation by I don't know why I can't get this guy's name in my head.
Main.
Sorry?
Brian Main.
Brian Main. I don't know whether any of you saw Brian when he did a presentation at the last Zinzino conference about the goal setting program he's created, which actually is really, really good. And it's free to Zinzino partners. So looking into Brian Main and what he does is something that really helps to refine what people are looking for in their lives. Because it's all very easy to say, well, you know, I'd like a house on the sea, or I'd like a new car, or I'd like these things. But that's not the collective. It's the collective vision of what people want to achieve that makes a difference. So these goals help us to keep us focused on our quest. Oops, sorry. I'm sharing the wrong screen. Back to it. Here we go. Keep us focused on our quest for success. And they give us a destination, because a goal is a dream with a date. Let me repeat that. A goal is a dream with a date. Because you can have a goal and then it just goes on being the same goal down and down and down and down, because there's no stake in the ground about when you're going to make it happen by. When you know when you're going to make that happen, It focuses everything in order to helping you to achieve that. Your whole thinking is engineered towards making that happen. This is what we want to have a conversation with our partner about, the new partner. What do you want? What's the why? Why are you doing this? And the reason for all this is very simply that when they meet challenges along the way in terms of frustration because it's not moving fast enough, not finding new customers, people they know really well saying, I'm not interested in that, etc., etc. The why helps them overcome the hurdles and keep them on track, because it should be big enough to overcome the challenges. If the why is not big enough, then it's not the real why. I know that might sound like an odd thing to say, but that's the truth of it. Bit of reading for you. Get hold of Amazon, open it up, put in there, I think it's called Knowing Your Why by Simon Sinek, S-I-N-E-K. It's an absolutely brilliant read, and he describes the relationship between the elements of the way the human brain is built and the motivation that we have in terms of changing things, and helping people to understand what the why is and what will drive them through and what the motivation of that is. It's a brilliant read, really good. You can see him talk. There's a couple of, many actually, TED Talks he's done, 20-minute talk. I think the seminal one was about 20 minutes, where he talks about the reason that the basic reasons why companies do what they do and how important that is to organizations. So he was originally coming at it from an organizational perspective, but actually the personal one is just as valid. So Zinzino provides us all with a vehicle to make the dreams a reality. If you're working for a living and you're making, let's say, 4 or 5 grand a month, is that going to take you to where you want to end up? If that's a question to ask of your partner. Is what you're doing now going to take you to the goal you've got? If it's not, then that's part of what we have on offer here, is in the partnership sense. Because Zinzino's limited earnings are pretty much unlimited at the top end. It's only based on the scale of the network you create. And that's all about activity. So it helps us to put the dreams, bring the dreams about into becoming a reality, because the goals fuel the vehicle. And of course, they're a date. As I said, their goals are a dream with a date set to achieve them. Most people know what they would like to do, but don't have a plan to do it. And this is the point. Not so much, I hate using this word failure. It's the reason things don't change. It's because the plan isn't clear enough. They haven't decided what they want clearly enough, and they haven't planned clearly enough to make it happen. And by planning clearly enough, very often there are elements of those plans that are things people have never done before. So let's bring this back into Zinzino for a second. One of the things we all have to do to build a successful Zinzino business is talk to others. And very often that can be talking to others in a way we've never talked to them before. So if I'm calling my friend, my best friend, and saying, listen, mate, I just got involved in this business and I know you'd be brilliant at it. I'm going to come around and when can I sign you up? Then that's probably not quite the right way to approach it. It needs a little bit more understanding than that. So there's a way to approach people that will be new to vast numbers of people who are becoming part-time, very often part-time partners with Zinzino. So we have to coach them through the way that works as well. Now, I know you can all do this because you've been doing it. So this is not the difficult bit. It's helping them to do it or leveraging it with them. So goals must be clearly defined, affirmed regularly, and kept out in front of you. The vision board thing that Brian Main has put together is really, really good. It helps to stay focused. And strangely enough, as time changes and your goals get ticked off and achieved, your vision board changes, because it's always a journey. I know, hey, it's a bit of a hackneyed phrase, but it is a journey. You're moving from one state to another. So the status is always changing. All successful people are big dreamers and take action guided by a plan. Look at Elon Musk. I mean, if there isn't an example of a big dreamer, I don't know what is. The number of times he went bust or virtually went bust with SpaceX it's a story in itself. And now I'm not sure whether he's still the richest bloke on the planet, but he was for a little while, because Tesla stock had risen to such a point that it made him richer than Jeff Bezos. Well, hey, they could never spend all the money they've made in their entire lives, I don't think. Mind you, could do if you chuck enough of it into space, I guess. So this is actually quite important, that you understand your partner's reason for doing this, the why that's running through their head, because that helps you to help them to overcome the challenges they're going to have. So why did you join? Let me challenge you all with this. Some of you will have seen these before. What was it for? What's the primary mover for you? Financial independence, extra income, products. And again, as you're going through this with your partner, this will help them refine their own thinking about what it is that's motivating them. Why are you doing this? Well, and some pluck out the top one and say financial independence. Well, actually, that's not really an answer. What does that mean? Because goals have to be specific. What do you want to do with it? Well, I'd like a new car. Okay, what car is that? Where do you want to live? What sort of house is it? What's the view like? You're creating image, because we all think in images, so you're creating these things. But there are different elements or areas of motivation for different people based on what's moving them and making them feel like they want to go in this direction, in a direction which will take them towards. And some people start out with fairly small dreams and fairly small goals. And as, of course, change happens, as I said earlier, the landscape changes. And the more they can see, the more they can very often actually bring into reality, because they can see a further horizon. So you'll get this when I send you the slides. This is the sequence of questions to ask. Of these, which is your number one priority? Which one of these is most important to you? Why that one? Why is it important to you? So now you're repeating it, really. What are the consequences of not having it? Now we're looking at the loss side of things, and does that worry you? Yes, it does, is then ultimately the answer. So a corollary to that questioning is, are you going to get out of what you're doing right now the answers to all this? Is it going to give you the financial independence you want? Is it going to help you leave a legacy? Is it going to help you retire? Blah, blah, all these things that just spark off the thinking in a person's head. So we're getting to the point now where we're actually into the practical stuff, because we understand a little bit more about the motivation. So let's talk about the people you know. Use the memory jogger to dump your memory. This is not a prospect list. Page 23. Here we are. This is not a prospect list. No, there we go. That's a list of all sorts of types of roles that people can have in order to trigger the memory more. It's the memory jogger, if you like. Excuse me. And that helps you to expand your list of people that you may have forgotten about, but you do know. Now, this is all it is a dump of people. It's not a list of prospects. You're not evaluating anybody at this stage. And you must emphasize this with your partner, because otherwise what will happen is they'll create a list of 10 or 15 people that they want to approach because they're comfortable approaching them and they think they know the kind of decision they'll take. And this is fraught with danger for most people, because it very often leads to the biggest disappointment of all. Because they're picking out the people that they think need what you've got, and then making assumptions about the likely decision they'll take. And that's it, almost always wrong. It's not always, but it isn't, it's risky. It's a high risk strategy, because what we want to do is connect with everybody. We're not wanting to limit this. We're We're simply sharing what we have with people in a way which allows them to evaluate it for themselves. We're not putting it in, that we're not saying to them, you've got to do this. And because I've always found that whenever you sell someone into this business, they don't actually do very much. So page 23, write it up. Use your phone contacts, your address book, your LinkedIn, Facebook connections, transfer these to your list. They're all valuable. Now, on the word about social media, do not start sticking posts up on social media in the short run about what you're doing and why you're doing it and all those kinds of things, because people will misinterpret your meaning and what you're asking of them. I'm not saying you need to hide it under a, you need to hide what you're doing, but what I'm saying is you don't broadcast it at this stage for a couple of reasons. One is you invite comment, because that's what social media is all about. And those who want to be critical will do so, because they'll all know somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who knew somebody who was taken to the cleaners by somebody else. And as a consequence of that, you will attract a certain amount of trolling because of it. Second reason is they've all got an opinion about who you are, what you represent, the relationship you have with them. And it's much easier for them to criticize your decision as a consequence of that from really a point of detachment. And this starts to question the why for the person who's just started. It questions the judgment they have and the decision they've taken to become involved. So I encourage you to make sure you do not allow your new partners to stick this up on Facebook and start inviting comment, because it will all get misinterpreted. And that's not to say they shouldn't do it. They should do it, but it's further down the line when we've got through the direct contacts that we want to talk to, some of whom are bound to be on Facebook or LinkedIn in particular. So the key ones we're going to take those people from the list of LinkedIn and Facebook and put them onto our own list. Don't discriminate. It's just a memory dump. I can't emphasize this enough. It is a memory dump. That's all it is. So here is the most important task of all. Share your list with your upline. The reason's really simple. We're going to go through that then and start evaluating based on a conversation that we have, and then we're going to create a sequence in which we're going to make connection with them. That's what we're going to do. And we're going to do it together, because we get much more success by doing it together than leaving it to someone on their own. Even if someone has sales experience or phone experience in a professional environment, we're still going to do it together. We should be doing it together. Why? Because we have to take this down to the lowest common denominator so that anyone who doesn't have that experience is also handled this way, so that those of us who do understand that we should be doing this with them each time. We might have the skill. I've got the skill, pick the phone up and pretty much call anybody I like. So we all have, actually, on this call. But the people you're working with, the new partners, may not have that skill. And asking them to do it on their own is a quite scary thing. We used to run a telephone program called the 10-ton telephone, because that's what people see it as when they're placed in an environment where they have to pick it up and call someone and to talk about something they don't really, they're not used to doing. Is what I call the mumbling and stumbling stage, where you can't quite get your words into the right order and the meaning's wrong, and you're feeling a bit embarrassed about trying to do this thing without too much experience, and it all gets too much, and very quickly people stop doing it. So you need to hold the hand. It's back to the hand holding and working together to go through and build the consequence. Marco puts this really well, actually. It's a me, we, you. Me, we, you. In other words, I'm doing it to start with to show you how it should be done. We're doing it together to work it so you understand how well that works and how to do it on your own. Practice, practice, practice. And ultimately, you've gained the skill to be able to do this on your own and to share that with other people. If we duplicate that correctly, then it's happening all the way down the line. And that skill gets passed on so that people actually learn. This is, and it short circuits it. So plan, are you going to contact and when, as I've just explained. And if you learn this lesson well, it forms the basis of what you teach your own partners. And in turn, of course, theirs. Because this is it, the duplication going along. And it's the secret to building a network fast. You get this bit right, the rest of it will take care of itself. So understanding the power of leverage, and in relation to Zinzino specifically, you are looking for, as a new partner, 4 customers so that you can get your product for free. And 4 partners, 2 on each side of your business. And we want to try and achieve this in the first few days. So this is a crucial first week activity. 48 hours, no more, 24, 48 hours, the list. We have a conversation then about who we're going to approach, when we're going to approach them, how quickly we're going to do that. And then with the goal of achieving 4 customers and 4 partners. So how are we going to make this happen? Well, this is important because the first 30 to 60 days carry some pretty important goals from the point of view of what can happen within Zinzino itself and the reward that you get as the new partner. So we're not just leaving you to your own devices. There is a method here. And the method's simple. It's designed for us to support you through this initial period to get some early success. Because that success will underline for you that this business works, that the product has a place for other people, and that you've actually started to make some income from it to justify the the investment that you've made in your package, and to get your money back, so that we're beginning to prove that it can be successful for you. So we're working with the upline, and the team and the upline and the support system that we've actually got in place. We're using the Express Start booklet to answer the questions we might have. And we're looking for 4 customers, which takes us to a rank of what's called Smart Bronze. As long as we do it in the first 30 days. That kicks in the mentor bonus, the 5% mentor bonus on all of your personally sponsored partners and their team commission. You don't get this bonus if you don't achieve it. If we don't achieve this within the first 30 days, we just don't get this bonus at all, the 5% mentor bonus I'm talking about. And of course, you get the cash bonuses by achieving Smart Bronze. 4 partners opens up both sides of the plan and effectively gives you the ability to access everything that there is within it in terms of the volume commissions. We then build up to 10 customers to achieve X Team Express within the 60 days. We can do that as fast as we like. If we hit the ground running with the list you've got, excuse me, we could probably do that in 7 to 10 days. And the reason we need 10 customers is because initially those who buy Premier kits will provide you with enough volume for you to get your products free in month 2. But then thereafter, those initial 4 will not create a regular enough bonus in order for you to get your own product free. So we've got to uplift the number of customers to 10. That's really what we have to do. And we also get the enrollment credit bonus. So we need to start learning a little bit about the product, but that's not the crucial thing. What's crucial is the list, the willingness to share it, the agreement with the upline sponsor to how we're going to approach those people and what the potential is, the kind of approach we ought to have, whether it's partners or for product. And then we're going to go to work on those. And while I'm helping you as the partner to do this, you don't need to worry too much about the product, because I'll cover that and you'll learn this as we go along. In other words, you're going to earn while you learn. And that's a key part of all this as well, is we're making you comfortable, helping you get comfortable with what needs to be done. Complete the checklist within the Express Start. So let's just talk about the bonuses for a minute. Smart Bronze, to be done within 30 days. This is the estimated commission, because it varies a little bit depending on the package and whether there's any extras that people might have bought. Smart Bronze achievement gets you 10% cash bonus from day 1. So initially on the 4 Premier kits, that would give you about £52. and it qualifies you for your free product. So in other words, you're only going to pay the shipping cost for the second month's worth of product. And it gets you this £90 Smart Bronze bonus as long as you do this within 30 days. Really straightforward. And of course, it's the 5% mentor bonus that you qualify for. Fast Silver in your first 30 days, that's 375 credits instead of 750. So it's half the effort, half the work. It's probably as much effort as it would ordinarily be, but it's half the work to get to the same position. As long as you've created 4 people, two and two. Actually, you can do it with 1 and 1 if you've got ultimate packs. But that's we don't stop at two, even if we do get the ultimate packs. We always go for more. Always recruiting, because that's safety and a solid business by doing that. This now gives you the 100% enrollment credit bonus, and then you get a £225 fast starts for going Fast Silver. So you can see that the money is beginning to rise on the back of the effort. So that what's important to appreciate through all of this is the effort you put into the first 7 days or so sets the scene for the next 30 to 60. And the effort you and the new partner do together cements their feeling about they've made the right decision. And it begins to help them to acquire the skills needed in order to repeat this on their own and with their own new partners as they develop. So it's a win-win-win-win-win all the way along the line. But if none of this happens in the first 70 days, then you're likely to not lose the partner, because they'll probably go on buying product, but they won't be working at creating an organization, which is ultimately what we want them to do. We want them to do, and they, of course, do the same. X team, 10 customers, 10 Premier kits, 10% cash bonus, £78. Plus the ECB gives you £130 X Team Express bonus achieved in the first 60 days. And all we're doing then after that is repeating and repeating, because once we got a silver, if you look at the plan that we show in the business presentation now, it's all built on repeating and building new silvers, 4 up to 4 and so on, right the way through to crown. So all we're doing is we're building, repeating and repeating and repeating. It's the same, effectively it's the same jigsaw piece being placed every time. But none of this happens if we don't onboard the partner in the right way. If we onboard the partner like this, then the chances of it happening increase exponentially. Otherwise, what happens is you become a recruitment engine. You've got to recruit more and more and more and more people, because they're coming on, but they're not developing enough to continue to do it. Some do because they are personally self-motivated enough. They go through the pain of learning how to do it for themselves. And they're quite rare animals, in my experience. So you're far better off working with them in the first 7 days, even if ultimately they then decide that, they really don't, it's too much effort and I really don't want to do this. Well, at least you know. Otherwise, you don't. And consequently, if there's an element of frustration for you as a sponsor because they're not doing anything. Well, actually, you're not working with them to do anything. And it's a two-way street here. But the responsibility is on the partner, the part of the sponsoring partner, to help the new partner become an active person within the organization. So that's it. Simple, but there are quite a lot of hidden things in this that make a difference, and it's built in layers in order to maximize the potential for you to get success, or for the new partner to get success as well, and to accelerate the growth of your business. Because by doing this, then you begin to get leverage quite quickly. Right, I'm going to stop sharing, and we can unmute everyone if you want to, Sue, so that we can cover questions. Sorry, sweetheart, you're muted at the moment.
Yeah, everyone can unmute themselves. I didn't unmute everyone.
Oh, okay, all right, that's fine.
Sorry.
So that's what I do. Hopefully that's helped you or is helping you. Any questions at the moment?
I have to find again how to download, or where it is on the back office to download the express brochure.
That's in the files part of the, when you've logged into your back office, left-hand side, there's a navigation button there called Files.
Yes.
It'll be contained in that that folder.
I think it's in the partner material.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what you asked me yesterday. Sabine.
Okay.
I think you would have got one, Sabine, when you originally signed, because you bought an Ultimate, didn't you?
Yes.
Yeah, I think you.
I got the German one. I don't know why. I don't have the English version.
Okay, well,
Yeah, and Romana asked me, she wanted to, after Dave has spoken about it, she wanted to read the pages. And I said, I can't find where you can download it.
Okay.
But I go on file and.
Let me just go myself. I'm sure.
Who's going to look for it for you, and then
Yeah.
we'll share them link.
I'm here on my website.
Yeah, no, hang on.
And go on file library.
File library, yeah. And then I think it's partner material.
Partner material. Yes, I'm on partner material.
Partner material, I think it's there. Hang on. Express start spreads. It's the top line, third one in.
Okay.
All right.
This is under this name. Okay, great.
Yeah, I thought I'd messaged you that yesterday.
Yeah, but I couldn't. I looked under brochure or something, but not under Express. Okay.
Okay, yeah, Express Start. Yeah. So
and with this GoCore, I've forgotten because of my new mobile. I couldn't download it. When you can't download it.
Are you on? You should be able to download it.
No, it doesn't work.
Are you on iPhone?
Normal smartphone.
Yeah, I can't do it either.
I don't understand why.
I've never been able to get it on my laptop either.
No,
I've
you
got it on iPhone.
Liz, it's not on your laptop. It's on your phone. It's
I
a
know.
phone.
I tried and also sent a message that I can't download it. I don't know if you have to register on your website for GoCore.
No. You've got all that included in your
Yeah, with another phone I can do it, but not with the other. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Oh, well, it won't let you do it on two phones. It won't let you do it on two phones. So you either have to have it on one phone or the other. You can't have it on two things.
Yeah, this is quite new, and then this is new. So yeah, or you can't have it on two phones. Okay.
I've got it on iPhone, and it works good.
Yeah. It works fine. So when we're able to get together, then we can probably go and kind of do some with Liz's and your phones. So when we were able to get together, hopefully soon.
Yes, that would be nice.
Yeah, I know. We're all fed up with not seeing each other. I'm gonna stop the recording unless you want me to continue to record, Nigel.
No, it's fine.
Okay, I'll stop the recording. That's fine.
No, it was very good, Nigel.